And thanks for joining us today. Last week when we kind of did something similar, when we did the premiere of, the Scout video, we were hoping to chat with you a little bit more in the chat section, but it got cut really short, so we decided to do a live stream. About 25 minutes ago, we just dropped the barrel versus barrel with a standard Scout barrel with the First Strike, with the Karmatic Nemesis barrel. And we're going to go over that today, just discuss it a little bit. We got Scott Quarles with us from First Strike, and as always, in all our YouTube videos, we got Alex Too Tall McLeod. How's it going, gentlemen?
What's up?
Pretty good.
It's the one-liners. I love it, boys. Okay, so basically we got this is the target that we got, and Alex, we shot this, and you mentioned in the video that it's kind of close. What did you really notice about when you're shooting at her?
So, I mean, I'm sure lots of viewers saw this too, but like the standard barrel, not bad. Not going to trash talk it, but you can see there's way more of like the left-right swing. Like clearly the shots are just kind of going all over the place.
Right.
And the Nemesis looks like it's much more like an up and down. Which many of our very helpful commenters have taught me that it's actually much better to have an up and down grouping.
Oh, yeah.
And like, obviously, I just want to address this because, like, it was a concern of mine. It's like, yeah, we didn't shoot, like, 9 mags of each barrel on the target. Like, we didn't make it, like, a 20-minute video. But with the rest of the, like, all the shooting we did off camera, it's the same results. Like all of it, when I was zeroing it in and stuff and trying to just get the supremacy scope zeroed, like the Nemesis is like, it's definitely more consistent. It's definitely more like you're going to land more shots. But the Scout, like the stock barrel is actually pretty decent in the Scout, like a way better than in a T15. I'll just say that.
Okay.
It's
So
it's a smooth bore barrel. And the bore size on it is larger. It's going to be in the 689, 690 range, and we do that because that allows the user to shoot whatever paint they want,
Including shitty paint.
Yeah, and especially those guys down in Florida. Like I cut my teeth playing in Alabama, and man, during like the August months, like paint will swell. Like you'll be sizing it up at like 685 in the morning, and then by afternoon it's 690. So I mean, you got to have a larger bore barrel, and we know everybody is going to be purchasing their own Nemesis or Lapco rifle barrel. So we're trying to include something that it works out of the box.
I still have my stock barrel literally for the times when you're shooting like the shitty paint that's all like it's not round and it's like all dimpled and all over the place. Like the stock barrel, you're just gonna get less chops. Like if your paint sucks, it's actually pretty good.
Yep.
So when we shot it, like when we did this video, like the video last week, and if you guys are watching there at home and you have questions that you couldn't ask us, please post them up. We are seeing them. We are being able to add those on the screen and answer them directly right here. Now, how did it feel, and what was the weight like for you last week, like when we did the shoot test? What did you think of it compared to other maybe bolt actions or other markers on the market of similar size?
I mean, I'm not a bolt action guy. Like I played once with a SAR 12, and it was fun, but like I don't have a ton of experience with bolt action, so.
But like weight, like what do you like? Does it feel maneuverable? Like is it more on the heavier side?
Oh yeah, no, it feels light. Like it's not like a SAR 12 isn't as heavy as it looks. It looks like huge and cumbersome, but it's not so bad. But it is still like really long. Like a SAR 12 is still like a really big, like. But the Scout it felt like I was holding a T15. It felt like the same. Like I could still snap it around if I want to. Like it's not overly heavy. It felt really similar to a T15. I think lighter. I think it was lighter, but I didn't weigh it. But it just felt lighter.
Right.
Yeah, I mean it's all aluminum. I mean you're comparing it to a more expensive bolt action, but also composite as well.
Yeah,
right? The
plastic on the side.
Low receiver is plastic, so it's going to be a lot lighter.
Awesome. So Scott, can you tell us a little bit more maybe about the internals, like what engine we're operating on? Because it's clearly not a standard T15 engine that we have in there.
Yeah, so it's a basic Nelson pump engine, and so most people will know it from the Phantom, the Hammer 7, of course. It's been around for 30 years. It's a great, robust platform. It's something that you can oil before the day and not really worry about it. My Scout I've had for about 8 months now, and I've oiled it maybe once or twice. I mean, it's a workhorse for sure.
All right, so we got Paul Rudick asking this question. Does it have the same barrel lock system as the T15?
Yes.
Yes. The difference though is so there is no smaller fine set screw in there. So we found that players were having issues using a smaller Allen key to fine tune their T15 barrel. So we got rid of that, and it's just one set screw now. It's no longer two.
Awesome. So on this platform right now, a lot of people are asking, it's come up in the comments here, what accessories for the T15 work with the Scout? Like, does the drop down work with it?
No. So just the handguard, the grip, magazines, barrels.
Perfect. Okay. Yeah, that came up quite a bit too. I noticed a lot of people are asking, like, does the drop down work, or what works with it? Got to clear those things up. I'm pretty sure we did address that in the video last week, but I think there's some people that are tuning in that are just kind of seeing what's going on. So it's good we got those addressed. So, is there anybody else? If you have any more questions about the Scout, please post them up. We'd be glad to answer
Somebody
them.
posted, and I've been getting messages like this. Is the Scout worth buying? And I have a really easy answer for that. If you want a bolt action, and you don't want to buy a SAR 12, you don't have fucking however many thousands of dollars to throw at a SAR 12, then yes, the Scout is worth buying. It is a bolt action. It's not an advantage. It's not. Don't look at it like that. It's cool, but you want a bolt action, you don't want to pay for a SAR 12. Like me. That's me. I fall in that boat. But a lot of people have been asking me, is it worth it? It's just man, that's up to you. That's no one else can tell you if that's worth it. Do you want a bolt action or not?
Yeah,
I saw that in the chat. I wanted to address it.
Yeah, I mean, it depends if you want something that's not $1,200 and you want to try out the bolt action style play. You can't find a Hammer 7. This is good for you.
Also,
you can try it out.
Also, the mag system, SAR 12s are cool, but the mag system on a SAR 12 is the clunkiest, most unwieldy shit in the whole world. Those mags are this big. They hold 12 shots. You got to flip it halfway through. Is it going to fit in a pouch? No, it's not. There's some quality of life stuff to the Scout that you can't downplay, because if you have a T15, you already have mags for a Scout. You don't have to get a whole new loadout. If I bought a SAR 12 right now, I would need a completely new rig in order to actually carry those mags. So there's that. Yep. These are the things to consider.
Awesome. Okay. All right. So moving on, Scott, you provided us some manufacturing pictures of some things you guys got going on. I was hoping that I should have switched off your screen. That you can maybe give us a little bit of a run through. Some people are pretty interested to see what we got going on. So here we go. What do we got here?
A little delay. I can't see it. Okay. Those are Scout lower receivers. So these are CNC'd. We're trying to continue using with all of our current products metal markers. We're going to continue down that trend. We really want robust and reliable markers that you can really abuse and not have to worry about things breaking in terms of the plastic. So that photo is those are I think our par sample. So it's our first article. We mill them out, make sure all the critical tolerances are correct. And then the next stage here is you can see all the mill marks. We'll sandblast them, and then they'll go into anodizing. So
Perfect.
That's what that photo is.
Perfect. So, is moving on, I guess. What do we got here with these?
Oh yeah, the upper receivers.
Is that for the Scout or obviously for the Scout?
Yeah, it's for the Scout. The cool thing about the Scout, and we haven't done it yet, but we're going to release a 3D file. So all the 3D printing nerds out there, they can build out their own loadout. I mean, if they want a left-handed version, they can do that. So that'll be a lot of fun. And also, there's a lot of meat on those upper receivers. We can take off a little bit, lighten it up, but also it gives some custom. You can customize it, mill it, anodize it, and it'll be a lot lighter and be pretty unique.
That's awesome. The fact that you're going to release the 3D files is pretty neat. Like, there's some pretty amazing 3D printers and designers and stuff out there that probably come up with some pretty cool stuff. So the fact that you're helping that kind of segment of the market is amazing.
And I've seen a lot of left-handers. A lot of left-handers are asking if it comes in a left-handed version, so that'll be nice.
Yeah, I'm a lefty myself, so I feel the pain.
Same.
That's awesome. Okay, so moving on. So this is, I kind of know what this is. So is this just wrapping of the carbon fiber tanks, basically?
Yeah. It's a super cool process for people who haven't seen it. But once they stamp out the inner liner, then it goes in and gets wrapped in carbon fiber, and then it gets dipped in a gel coat. So it's really neat to watch that whole process.
Honestly, I've never seen this done. I've heard you and Ben and some other people and manufacturers talk about this process, but actually to see it has actually been pretty neat because I thought there were just guys there to a bunch of them pulling the carbon fiber tight and wrapping it. I guess I'm kind of an idiot in that regard, but if you think about it, it's pretty interesting. They're being mass done, right? So that's awesome. So you got the 11 round mag that just came out. You sent me this, which looks great. So I imagine, is this some sort of pattern you guys are looking at doing, or what?
I mean, that's an off-the-shelf pattern of the hydro dipping. So we're looking into hydro dipping mags. I mean, the first one we wanted to do was a 30 round and hydro dip it yellow, put a First Strike knockoff banana logo on there, and it's just something that we're looking into. It just really depends on if that's something people want. And the red, white, and blue magazines, they did really well. I saw a few guys, Paul, he did some stencil work on it. Looked really cool. So, we're always looking for ways that, players can customize and, show, let their freak flag fly,
Yeah, exactly. So are you testing the waters to see what patterns people want to have done? Or do you already know what you're going to do? Is that something you want people to talk about and mention in the comments below? What would you like?
Oh, yeah, sure. Post up, let us know. I mean, the only thing, we can't do multicam because we would get sued, or the magazines would cost $20 more. Yeah, so I mean, unless you're you're willing to pay $50 for one multicam mag, we're just not gonna go down that road.
Yeah, but I'm sure there's a lot of multicam-ish patterns that are totally fair game.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, me personally, I just like solid color mags, even just solid tan or something like that, solid black. I know I'm probably in the minority at this point, but I'm not a huge fan of the smoke mags or the clear mags.
Mm-hmm.
It's just me. Throwing it out there. I know a lot of people like the smoke because you can check your ammo, and I totally do that. But
yeah,
I'm a nerd for aesthetics, so
it would be cool, to be able to have a window in there. So hydro dipping would allow you to hydro dip a clear mag, and then you have a little window there, so you can see the last four or five shots. So
that'd be super nice. Super nice. Do something like that. There you go. You answered your own question. Like,
Awesome. All right. So this is all over your face. So let me just help you out there with that, there, my man.
That's all right.
So
Do me a favor.
yeah. So T15 folding stock with remote line. This is, I guess, still in the works.
Yeah, it is. This will replace the machine pistol. So the machine pistol, it wasn't something. The machine pistol backplate, sorry,
Okay.
isn't very popular. We have products that we will bring out, and we'll go a year or so, and then we'll kind of sit back and take a look at it and see if it makes sense. And the machine pistol backplate, there's just not a lot of people are looking for that sort of setup. So this accomplishes the same thing, because if you have a folding stock for the FSC, you know that you can remove that whole setup and just run it short. So this will kill two birds with one stone and have a folding stock for the T15, but also you can make it a shorty as well, just by removing all those components as well. The only problem though with the T15 is you can only fold it one way. So it's not going to be like the FSC where you can fold it both ways just by turning it upside down.
Meh.
Right.
That's minor.
Yeah,
Gripe.
it's minor unless you're a lefty
And you
prefer
like to
having
run it,
way,
and you like to have it folded in. But
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of people would. I don't know. Actually, I'm not sure how most people would run that. I like it though. I like the idea.
So
and
this is, I'm going to assume, maybe you mentioned it, I just wasn't paying attention, but this is similar to the FSC folding stock, is it not? Just a different plate?
Yeah. So everything after, so you see the gray part, that's a new piece, but the black part would be exactly the same. So we'll share a lot of the same components. We'll take the same stocks. Like I've seen the guys like Chad Bob. He's already been 3D printing new stocks for the FSE, which is really cool. We have those files up on our website, so people can download them and modify them. And then we'll try to do that for more and more products, so people can customize.
That's pretty neat. I think
All right,
that's cool.
So that's basically it for the little project you were telling us about. It was really awesome for you to share that with us and for us to do kind of a run through. But I guess we're all kind of in this weird kind of time right now, and I guess what a lot of people are asking about is the Roscoe still going to meet its release date?
Yeah, so we're going through testing right now. We did lose about a month. We do 98% of our manufacturing. If we manufacture overseas, it's in Taiwan. The rest is in the USA.
Right.
So we have. So we didn't lose that much time, but we did lose about 3 weeks. So we were hoping to have it out this month. It's looking like we're going to have our first batch probably in early May. I see some photos of it. They just left coding. We have laser engraving happening right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you sent me this. This is basically your cylinder with some 50 cal first strikes, which is pretty awesome. That kind of speaks for itself. And this is, I guess, the prep of the Roscoe prior to going in for anodizing or further production. I'm assuming.
Yeah. So it's fully aluminum, and that's the main difference between any competitor revolver. It's aluminum. You can see these just came out of the die cast mold, and so these will get deburred and then put into a sandblaster. Then we'll check critical dimensions and then go in for this assembly, and then we'll take them back apart and do the coating and laser engraving.
Perfect. Okay. So I guess kind of similar situation. Got the grip on it. Where we go type video.
Yep.
All right. Awesome. And this is close to production.
That's what the people want to watch.
Yeah.
That's what I want to see. I know what's coming, and I'm still just like, show me the one I want to see.
Yeah.
We got the images. We're showing you.
That's the guy right there.
So I guess this still
so
needs
doing ship testing on it.
Okay.
Yeah, it needs. Yeah, the triggers there hasn't been coded yet. A few minor things there, but just making sure the packaging fits well, and we'll do a ship test, make sure nothing gets jostled around and breaks when it gets thrown around by Amazon or whoever you're going to order it from.
Okay, so we got Paul Rudick, as always, asking another question, which I think is a very good question, is are the FPS adjustment valves going to be available at the same time as the Roscoe?
Yes. So we wanted to make sure, so we made sure that everything is going to be available, at the launch.
Right.
With the FSC, we launched the pistol first, and then the holster came out, and then all the other accessories. And I feel like that hurt the pistol as a whole because people didn't realize everything that you can do with it. So with the Roscoe, we're going to have the constant air adapter, the different valve the valves you can drop in for different velocities. And we'll have the accessory cylinders as well.
Okay.
So yeah, it should be all launching at the same time.
That's awesome. If you guys have any other questions regarding anything we got going on at First Strike, Defcon, whatever, please throw them in the comment section. We're here to answer all this. Yes, this is slightly a structured live segment, but we want to answer what you have going on too. If you have more questions about the Scout or anything else, we'll get to it. Another thing we kind of got going on here is
someone asked about the drum mag.
We did, but let's wait on that just for a second. Every time we do a live, yeah, I know, I saw it too. Every time we do one of these live things, we want to try to bring some attention to a live YouTuber, a paintball YouTuber out there. There's a lot of really cool content that's up and coming, a lot of guys that are putting in the work, and they deserve recognition, and we'd like to help them out with that. And one of them is a very, we see
he's
him
in the chat right now.
He is in the chat right now. So,
yeah, it's Tango. I don't know if you guys know Tango. His real name is Tim, but if you've played in Ontario, if you do play in Ontario, you have played with this dude. He is at every single MagFed and scenario game, and a lot of the games that are just regular games too. He's honestly, especially in the last couple of years, he's been just running a lot of command roles. He's the general half the time. He's constantly doing the whole XO thing. The guy just pushes objectives. He just pushes objectives. It's just his jam. And if you have played in Ontario, I guarantee that he's yelled some kind of command at you. And if you haven't, you should watch his stuff because it's actually really cool and it's really fun. And we wanted to show him off because he's doing good stuff and he's really enthusiastic and a good dude. And yeah.
Exactly. So we're going to throw... Hey, Tango. So what we're going to do is for Tango stuff, for his Instagram and his YouTube, once this is done, we're going to put that all in the comments section so you guys can check his stuff out. He actually just released a video, I think, either a week ago or recently, so you should really check that out. He's pretty consistent with that, with dropping those. And also, he does every Sunday, I believe, with Lead Farmer. He does a podcast, which is weekly. So you guys should check that out too. I will also put that in the comment section below once this is all over. So that's basically, Tim, Tango, you should check him out. But I guess kind of what everyone's been talking about, let's get to that now, and that is the C-Mag. Scott was kind enough actually to send us a test on the, where was that shot before I play that? Where was that done?
United Tactical Systems. So we have we have 3 offices, but we have 2 facilities. One's in Fort Wayne. That's where we do all our manufacturing for our markers and testing and packaging and stuff. And then in Lake Forest, we have our manufacturing for our projectiles. So First Strike rounds, the ultra spherical rounds, the pepper balls, and then the FN 303 rounds as well. So this is at the Lake Forest facility at our test range.
That's awesome. Okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and play it, and then we could talk about it right afterwards. So let's
I'm excited.
Let's check that out.
Show us the money.
260. Oops.
There's no audio.
Oh, that's a bummer. That's the best part.
Yeah.
Sorry.
There should be audio, everybody. There are good tracks in this one.
Includes.
I promise it's real. We have another one. We do it with audio or no?
Audio's not coming through on it. So what I could do is I could post that to Instagram later, most likely.
It is real though. Anyone who's watching, it's a real thing. It made sounds. There was paintballs coming out of it. I promise.
Yeah, it's tough because this. So for people who don't know,
Right.
First Strike has a sister company, Pepperball, and Pepperball manufactures paintball style. We call them launchers, but they're markers that shoot these pepper balls. And everything that we do is mainly generated for Pepperball. So the C-mag is what we call it internally. A drum mag is what box mag. Originally, it was for the Pepperball side. And that was shown at SHOT Show, I think, before I arrived at UTS, United Tactical Systems. And at that point, it was just a concept. Brian Sullivan's the designer. He's the guy that designed the T-15, the ATS tagline, the PMI Piranha, the Black Max, which he probably doesn't want to admit that he did that one, but he did. So it started there. I think the goal for showing it at SHOT Show back in 2016 or 17 was just to get interest. And of course, our paintball guys are, they check out SHOT Show as well. So they picked up on it. And at that point, we were multiple years away from bringing it to market. And the reason being is we have two different launchers. So we have the T-15 that you guys all know, and then we have a VKS, which is an entirely different launcher that is for the Pepperball side. And so we had to have design a product that works for the VKS, which is it's like a souped up FSC. It's a blow forward design, like an auto mag, and then also the T-15. So the product specs for it needed to work for T-15. It needed to work with the VKS. It needed to be robust enough where a police officer can throw it in their trunk for 6 months and it still works. It needed to be where it can be in the jungle and it can get wet and it won't rust. It'll still work. So we had to make it a tool because that's how the military and the police officers, they really look at this as a tool. So if we were just designing it for the T-15, it would have been available, last year. I mean, some guys saw me use it at the Dominion a few years ago. It was going great, but we have the way it actuates. It's not the same for the T-15 as it is for the VKS. So having the product work for both has been difficult. And then also where the product, we had pretty good success and we thought we were going to be launching it this past year. I used it at Full the Gap with the changes that we made. And it worked okay, but overall it wasn't robust enough to give to police officers. And at the end of the day, we have to make it affordable for the consumer side for paintball. So paintball guys are not going to spend $600 for a drum mag. Police officers and military, yeah, they would. But to make one product, because it's the tooling on this thing is super expensive. I mean, I'm probably going to get in trouble for saying this, but we've spent probably in the whole project over 200 grand so far, and the tooling alone is $160,000. So getting that money back is going to be difficult, but we can't afford. We're a small company. We're much smaller than Planet Eclipse and GI Sports. We're very small, so it doesn't make financial sense to create two different products that accomplish the same thing. So we needed one product that accomplished the same thing for different platforms, and it's been difficult. It's definitely the hardest project I've ever worked on in my relatively short career in product development and paintball. But we're making progress. We are actually building units. We had units to hand out at Dominion this last month, and that was canceled, and that was a real bummer because at this point I don't have another event to take these out at and do enough testing. I mean, you noticed the Planet Eclipse guys, they had the MG100 being field tested for six months, and that's why it's so successful. They really work the kinks out of it, and we want to do the same thing with the CMAG. We don't want to release something that's not going to work, and especially with the price tag when you're paying 200 plus for a loader, which is normal in paintball. Speedball guys do it all the time, but the MagFed guys not so much. So we want to make sure that this $200 piece of equipment works perfectly and does everything that we promised to do. And another note, it shoots different projectiles. So it shoots round balls, it shoots first strike rounds, and then it shoots the VXR rounds for our pepper ball side, which are larger than the less lethal rounds that are larger than first strike rounds. So having it do all those things, it's been a challenge, but we're getting there. I'm seeing the light at the end of the tunnel for sure. We're starting to build some up.
That's perfect. So I had a couple questions come up that I see that I'd like to maybe bring attention to. Now, this drum mag is for the T15, but is there any possibility that there'll be an adapter or something to work with, say, like the MG100 or TMC or anything like that, so that
for sure
everyone can enjoy this love?
Yeah, and so that's the silver lining is the fact that we were able to make it work with the VKS, which is a blow forward design. Right. That means we can take that same that same idea and make it work for a TMC and MG100. And so we are working on the adapters for that. The different towers is what we're calling them. You'll be able to swap out the tower and then ready to go.
Nice.
Yeah.
I like that. That's pretty. That's
pretty good. Dope. That's huge.
I think it's someone brought it up here, and I could post up their comment if I find it. But the box rotor is a $600. So the fact that you're trying to be that's 600 Canadian in US,
but
it's a lot less. But the fact that you guys are really taking the price consideration of the consumer to make sure that people could buy, I think that's pretty cool, because I don't want to sound like a dick or anything, but I don't think a lot of companies would even consider that.
No, well, I mean they all do. I used to work for Key Action Sports, Empire, JT, Kingman. So that's something. There's a lot of projects that were never released just because we couldn't get the price down. So I mean, a good engineer, a good designer, they're going to know while they're going through the process, how much each component's going to cost to build this thing. And if they don't believe it's going to be a product that you can make money on, then it's skunk works at that point. Yeah. So. Yeah, I mean it's tough. $600 for a loader is a tough pill to swallow. When most MagFed markers are in the $300 to $800 range.
Right. So
if for $600, it has to it is not allowed to fuck up ever, not even once.
Oh, no.
That's you're right. That's steep. That's steep. I could buy so many mags for that, and mags that I know are going to work.
Yeah.
So, just another question popped up about the drum mag. Gentleman asked, assuming the drum mag is not electronic, so it is mechanical.
It's 100% mechanical. It puts zero pressure on the projectiles, the rounds in there. So you can use gel, you can use first strike rounds. There's not any pressure like a normal magazine. With each time you pull the trigger, it will index the round up. So that's really nice. You don't really have to worry about walls getting crushed together or anything like that.
Yes.
Perfect.
This is so good. Right. Love it.
So you sent us some pictures of the C-Mag. Still cool to show those off right now to everybody, or obviously they wouldn't be if you didn't send that to me.
I'm not sure what I sent you, but yeah.
Hopefully they're not nudes.
Ben's in the chat and he's just like, he'd like that. So can you explain
what?
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. So that's the outer housing mold. So for any plastic injection part, you got to have a mold made, and so this one's super expensive. I mean, as you can see, it's quite large. That's the outer front shell. So that's the tool, and you inject that with the plastic. You pull the part out of there, and then there you go.
Okay, that's pretty awesome. So is this like the mold that will be used for production, or is this sample mold being made?
Yeah. This is steel. So you could do like a silicone mold and do a shorter run, but no, this is the legit tool. This is not the majority of that major $100,000 cost, but it's a good bit of it. And you can see this is prior to us adding texturing to it. So we added texturing, and that makes the part come out and not be all shiny and reflective. It makes it look cooler.
Gotcha.
So, that matters.
Yeah. This picture is of the housing. Nice, and you can see I broke a ton of rounds on there. But yeah, you can see how it's shiny here. We haven't had texturing on at that point, so this is pretty early on.
Okay, that's awesome. All right, so if you have any questions that you want to answer, please bring them up. We are answering questions. If it's something maybe unrelated to a topic that we've talked about, please bring it up. We'd like to answer them, but we would like to actually we're going to move into something else where we have some products that we want you guys to consider that have come out, obviously, and it's just something that we want to just bring a little bit more to your attention. It's something that we were talking about beforehand. Some awareness might not be around it, and it's kind of like moving forward, it's probably going to be our top products of the week type thing. And I mislabeled that, so that's embarrassing. So one of the first things that just came out this past week.
That's not a freak.
Freak barrel system. What was up before was not a barrel system. This here is the Freak T15 barrel system that just came out. So you guys should probably check that out when you get a chance on the website. Also the Scout, which we already brought up. You should check that guide out too. And something that a lot of people haven't caught on to yet, and that's the Meg Figure on-off ASA. Alex has one of those. And
I love that thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, if y'all aren't on the on-off ASA life yet, like, I don't know what to say to you by this point. It's just so useful. It's just there's just a handy thing to have. That's all I'm gonna say. It's a good thing to have. Yeah,
absolutely.
Get it. Save those threads, children.
Absolutely. And then obviously we've already brought it up too, and that's a First Strike Roscoe. These things are still relatively new. The Roscoe's coming out. So check that out. That's available for pre-order now on defconpaintballgear.com. If you have any questions in regards to that, please send us email, drop us in the comments, or however else you'd like to get a hold of us. So basically, in terms of our live stream, that's about it for what we wanted to talk about. So if you do have any other questions while we're still here, let's get into that.
People want to see the dog in the coat. People want to see it. I'm seeing it in the chat. People want to see Mochi.
Mochi.
I understand, viewers. I understand. I wanted to see the dog too.
Yeah, she's wearing a tiger costume.
Oh, little Joe Exotic. Yay. That's all we wanted.
Yeah.
Oh,
She's a little
she's
scared.
embarrassed.
Yeah, that's my wife's dog.
Oh, I see. Throwing some shade at the dog.
No, she's great. I'm not, like the little dogs, not a huge fan, but this one's okay.
I hear you.
And when I first met my wife, she had her like 10-year-old Yorkie, and I was like, well, this is it. This is going to be the deal breaker. She's got a little dog, and it's going to be annoying. And it was a pretty good dog. So once that one passed away, we just, the next day got another one. That's what you're supposed to do, right?
Seems like a good dog. Seems very quiet. She's not yapping all over the place, and that's kind of my main problem with small dogs. But
yeah, me too.
Wears a good tiger costume. Like, what else do you want?
Right.
So another question came up. We're going to take a few questions here. The dog thing is absolutely awesome. So I guess one of the questions that came up was, I'm trying to find it in the chat here, can't seem to find it, but is there any field programs coming up where first strike rounds will be more widely accepted?
So if your field does not allow first strike rounds, it is one or two reasons. The first is because they don't like them. They don't want them to be shot for whatever reason, or their insurance doesn't allow it. There's insurance providers, just like, when you have your car insurance, and Garner can talk about this more, he owns a field. You can shop around and get different insurance coverages. So it is possible to get a new insurance provider that will allow first strike rounds. And there's actually more that allow first strike rounds than ones that don't at this point, because it is ASTM compliant. It's just people are, it's kind of annoying to switch car insurance or, your insurance provider every single year. I mean, I don't do it. So I understand a field might not want to change providers, and might possibly have to spend more on their premiums, or maybe less. We found some that are actually being charged less with the new insurance provider. So yes, we're going to work on educating. Mark Ayers is our sales guy. He's from PMI, from Key Action Sports, and he's really good at educating field owners on like what they need to do. And there's even events where if that field doesn't allow first strike rounds, and there's a big event there, we will cover the event and pay for the insurance just to allow first strike rounds. So you should see more and more games like Living Legends. I think all the Legends games, Ben can comment and correct me if I'm wrong, but all the Legends games are now first strike friendly, which is cool. And then the Super games, obviously, West, East, and I guess there's a Midwest Super game now. So you'll see more and more.
Perfect. Yeah, absolutely. Like I know in Canada, and the differentiating between Canada and the U.S., searching for insurance is a little bit of a challenge, but absolutely you could shop that around. When we were running an outdoor field, it wasn't really added more to a premium, but that's, again, if you're a field owner, you're in the chat, please check that out for yourselves. But FSRs at game, you just got to plan accordingly. And reach out to First Strike if you have any questions or comments or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, we're here to help for sure. We want field owners to feel comfortable using our rounds, selling our rounds. And it can be, pretty good for them. It could be some incremental sales. It's not something that they normally sell. And I worked for Key Action Sports. I know what fields make margin wise on paint, round ball, and, first strike rounds, they can help out a lot. It gives you a little bit extra cash.
Right, for sure. All right, so we got another comment here. is, will the stock valve for the Roscoe shoot under 300 FPS using 50 cal FSR?
Yes, the stock Roscoe will be shooting around 280 feet per second using first strike rounds. So we're testing them in the factory with our 50 cal rounds. With the round ball with gelatin 50 cal paint, it's hard to tell because the size varies so much, and so if it's going to be rolling out the barrel, the velocity is not going to be as high. But out of the box, it's below 300 feet per second, no matter what paintball you're using or first strike round you're using.
Awesome. Another one from Paul Ruddock. Any chance of other fill 50 cal FSRs?
Yes. Yeah, we're working on some different brighter colors. We're also working on doing different shell color as well. So you guys can actually see them when you're shooting them.
Gotcha. All right. So is that something that that you guys are planning for, like, the near future, or obviously right now it doesn't make sense because of where we're at? But
Yeah. We haven't. We have the 50 cal USP rounds that are going to be here soon. We also have the rubber tipped first strike rounds that are coming out, which will be good for practicing. So yeah, those will be coming out first, and then the different color 50 cal first strike rounds will be later on. I would expect maybe holiday season. It just really depends. The whole virus thing is kind of to push things back.
Kind of messing with stuff a little bit.
Kind of messing with a small niche industry like paintball.
Yeah, that's a thing.
right. So I guess in terms of the Roscoe, is there any other accessories after launch that we can expect? And this is a me question, not in the comment section.
Okay. Yeah, so there's the constant air adapter, which allows you to hook up a remote, which will allow for better velocity adjustment as well. I mean, you can adjust it via reg at that point. We have the and then there's the there's a high pressure valve you can put in there, which will take the velocity up to 350 to 400. Really, the guys who shot the 50 cal first strike rounds, they know that they fly better between 350 feet per second and 400 feet per second. But unfortunately, fields aren't really aware of the different impacts of 50 cal, so they're not going to allow you to shoot above 300. But in the event that sometime in the near future we can change the ASTM, that would be nice, because then at that point you could be shooting 50 cal at the proper velocity and it flies a lot better.
You mean if people suddenly started looking at joules instead of FPS?
Yeah.
That's we can dream. We can always dream.
Exactly.
Because that would be cool. That would open things up a lot.
Oh yeah. And then there's also going to be a low pressure valve assembly as well, and that's just for low impact. Ben and I both came from Key Action Sports, where there's a big push on the 50 cal low impact paintball, and there's still a market for that, surprisingly. And the thing though is, I don't know a lot of 8 or 9-year-old boys that want to pick up a plastic red pump when they can pull out like a Roscoe and play their birthday party with that, rather than a spring powered gun. So there's a lot of opportunity there.
All right. If you guys have any more questions, this is like your last chance. I think basically things that you guys think right now, we've basically already covered. So I guess that's going to basically be the end of our live broadcast. This is not something we're going to play. We're not going to really do this every week. Maybe once or twice a month. We are expecting to come back at this near the end of the month, and we will come back on. Stay tuned for information on that. Check Instagram, Facebook, most likely YouTube. Other than that, Alex.
Yeah, and if anyone you guys watching, like, if you have suggestions or something, whatever, like, if you have me on Facebook or Insta or whatever, just like message me. Tell me like what can we do with this? Because this is kind of a new thing that we're trying out. Because obviously we're all bored right now. We're all very bored right now. So we do want to keep doing it, but like, yeah, if you got suggestions, this is kind of new territory for us. The whole live thing. Normally we have this nice, sweet cushion of editing. But yeah, I don't know. I felt like it went well. I hope you guys felt like it went well as well. I hope we answered your questions. If we didn't, obviously, like comment on our videos or just harass me or whatever. You know what you're doing out there, you paintballers. Yeah. I don't know. Anybody else have anything to say?
I think that's about it. Scott,
So,
thank you very. Sorry.
Hey, there's one question. Biodegradable rounds. We hear you. We hear you. You know, our rounds are photodegradable, so if you do put them in the sun, they're going to break down. But yes, we hear you. We're working on it. We're a small company, so give us time. You know, if you compare us to the size of Planet Eclipse or GI Sports, you would be shocked. We're a very small company, and we're working with a limited group of people. We have a small staff. There's only so much we can do at once. So yes, we hear you. We're working on it. Totally agree. Just please be patient.
All right, Scott, thank you for coming on and being a part of the show. We really appreciate your time. I know you have a lot going on. You're digging into projects. You got your own thing kind of going on. If you guys have any other suggestions, comments on stuff you want to include on our next live stream, please leave those in the comment section below. And as always, like, subscribe, and thank you for watching. Take care.
That's my line.